everyone. I've come back out to the National Cemetery. I've done some research on Lieutenant Goad here, or Goad, I'm sorry. And he was the first Springfield resident killed in World War I. Before America entered the war, some American flyers did go to England to serve with the Royal Air Corps before America entered World War I, and John Marion Goad appears to be one of them. He was shot down June 27th, 1918, during the Battle of the Somme. He crashed behind, he crashed. I don't know if he was shot down or what happened, but he did crash behind enemy lines and was declared missing. It's my understanding is that they pretty much knew he had perished, but they had lost hope that he would ever be found. The story was that the Germans had found him and buried him somewhere near Amiens, A-M-I-E-N-S. I'm probably saying that terribly wrong. But in 1922, he was found. His body was found, and it was brought home. It took about 3 months of research to identify him correctly, just to make sure it was him. And then he was brought home, and he was buried here. And I am going to read the newspaper article from 1922 about when he came home and what Springfield did to welcome him. This article was published in the Springfield News Leader Wednesday, May 31st, 1922, on page 1. The headline reads, "Thousands pay final tribute to Lieutenant Goad, Springfield's first victim of World War." Approximately 4,000 cars blocked traffic along National Boulevard. Impressive military parade headed by police and soldiers. Not one iota of the full measure of honor due Springfield's dead of 3 wars was denied their memory yesterday afternoon during the most momentous Memorial Day celebration ever conceived and carried out here. From 3:30 o'clock, when an unending river of humanity had completed its surge to within the boundaries of the National Cemetery, to the final moment when the sea of men, women, and children stood awed and abashed at the solemn majesty of the scene as the body of John Marion Goad, Springfield's first martyr in the World War and the last to be returned, was bivouacked among the other gallant dead, there was no halt in the cycle of honors. The sky early yesterday morning was blue, flecked with white clouds, in strong contrast to the mournful drama which was to unfold itself beneath them. With the marts of trade stilled by common consent, and with patriotism aflame in every heart, the principal actors in the drama began to assemble on South Avenue, south of Walnut Street, shortly before 1:30 o'clock. In the meantime, thousands motored southeast and stationed themselves at vantage points along the prearranged route to the National Cemetery. Automobiles extended for miles, sometimes 3 and 4 deep. Led by Chief of Police Welch and police officers Estes, Crane, Vaughn, and Franklin, all mounted, and to the music of the Oddfellows Band next in line, the procession began its long march. The order of march after the Oddfellows Band was Colors and Color Guard, Chief Marshal J.L. Heckenlively, the G.A.R., and the Women's Relief Corps, United Spanish War Veterans, Company F, and the Headquarters Detachment of the 203D Artillery Anti-Aircraft, Boy Scouts Band, and Scouts, caisson bearing the body of Lieutenant Goad, drawn by 6 horses, Firing Squad, Ralph A. Snavely, former ensign in the Naval Air Corps, and the pallbearers, all also former air servicemen, the mourners, members of the Goad-Bollinger Post of the American Legion, and then automobiles. The line of march was north on South Avenue to the Square, east on St. Louis Street to Grand, southeast on Roanoke to Kimbrough, south to the National Cemetery. Arriving at the cemetery, the body of Lieutenant Goad remained outside under an armed guard while the usual Memorial Day service took place at the speaker's stand. The assemblage sang America, after which W.T. Roberts, chaplain of the McCloskey Post, gave the invocation. The American Legion Post Quartet sang several selections, and then came the address of the day by Dr. J. H. George, formerly president of Drury College, which Goad attended. The body of Lieutenant Goad was then escorted by the former air servicemen to its final resting place, to the funeral march by the Boy Scout band. Chief Marshal Heckenlively was in charge of this service. Paul A. Frey acted as chaplain. The American Legion ritual eulogy was by Dan M. Nee, and the eulogy for Goad's Drury College class and fraternity was by Dean A. P. Hall. The benediction was by Reverend Seth H. Buell, pastor of First Congregational Church. The parting salute was then fired. As taps echoed from one bugler to the other, and the body disappeared from the surface, Snavely, a classmate of Lieutenant Goad, circled above in his airplane and showered flowers over the grave. The flag, which had accompanied the body on its long journey, was presented to the Goad family by H. R. Aubrey. Following the second ceremony of the day, a huge quantity of flowers, which had been deposited on the square yesterday morning, was distributed over hundreds of graves. Dr. George's address in part was, "We meet to give utterance to our undying affection for our departed heroes, to declare our faith in all-wise Providence, who guides the affairs of nations, to express our appreciation and gratitude for the deeds of the veterans of the Civil War, and to greet and thank the heroes of the last great war, to renew our vows of loyalty to the United States and express our devotion to the old flag. We also come to mourn with those who mourn for their beloved dead and express profoundest sympathy for every home that has been made desolate by war." Lieutenant Goad's father was an attorney in Springfield. His name was George W. Goad, and they lived at 1109 North Main Street. He was their only son. I don't know if that means he was their only child or just the only male child in the family. But when he was found, it was reported that his father had pretty much given up hope that he would ever be found. So it's really nice that he got to come home, that he was found and identified, and that he had such an amazing procession, and the community really came together to say goodbye. So he went to Drury University, which is still here, serving students. He went to Springfield High School, which that building is still in use, still has students every single day. And I have some pictures of him from his yearbooks that I will post in this video. So rest in peace, Lieutenant Goad. I'm glad I found your grave and had a chance to research a little bit about your life. Wish you'd had longer on Earth.